Good day to you, young naturalists, and thank you for offering me your assistance. I am, of course, Charles Darwin. Hold your applause. The year is 1856, and I am old and too busy caring for my family to continue my travels. I need you to continue my research and help me finish my book on the origin of species. Let's hop to, shall we? Welcome to In the Footsteps of Darwin. Place the board in the center of the table on the journey side, the guide, publication, and compass tokens in their appropriate places, and my ship, the Beagle, on its starting space. Give a notebook and a guide token to each naturalist, and the Darwin token to the one who was most recently on a boat. This naturalist will take the first turn. Shuffle all the animal and character tiles face down and count out 12 of them for each naturalist participating in this journey to form any number of draw piles. Place 9 more tiles face up on the spaces on the board. Any leftover tiles may be returned to the box. Deal each naturalist a random theory tile to be placed face up on the topmost space on the right side of your notebook. Place your starting guide token in one of the dedicated spaces here. Shuffle the rest of these tiles to form 2 face-down draw piles on the appropriate section of the board. Draw 3 of them to place face up in these 3 spaces. On your turn, you shall start by selecting one of the 3 tiles the Beagle is currently facing and add it to your notebook. If the Beagle is positioned here, as it is at the start of the game, you'll take one of these 3 tiles. If it's here, you'll take one of these 3. If it's made it over to here, the tile you take will be one of these 3, etc., and so forth. After you've placed your tile in your notebook, you shall count the number of tiles between the Beagle and the now vacant space, and advance the Beagle clockwise that many arrows around the display, affecting what tiles are available for the next naturalist's turn. You'll then replace the tile you selected from the display with a new one from one of the draw piles, and the next naturalist in clockwise order takes their turn. Now, let us discuss the tiles and why you might select them on your turn. The vast majority of tiles are animal tiles. Taking one of these means you are studying that particular animal. When you place the tile on your notebook, you'll place it in the space matching its ecosystem and class, covering any tile previously placed there. When an animal tile is placed, you'll gain its immediate bonus, if it has one. An animal with a guide icon in the lower right corner will award you with another guide token from the supply, provided you've room for another in the lower left section of your notebook. You may never hold more than 2 of these tokens at a time. At this point, you must be wondering what purpose a guide serves. Simple. You may spend a guide token at the beginning of a turn to sail the Beagle forward or backward 1 arrow before making your tile selection. Alternatively, you may spend a guide at the start of your turn to probe for other research opportunities, discarding the 3 tiles facing the Beagle to the bottom of a draw pile and replacing them with new ones. You may only spend 1 guide token per turn, even if you still hold a second one. An animal with a crown in the lower left corner is emblematic, awarding you with the Darwin token, representing that you are currently my favorite pupil. The Darwin token starts the game with the first naturalist, but it will undoubtedly change hands several times before all is done. Whoever holds it at the end of the game will be awarded 2 victory points. An animal with a survey icon awards you with 1 compass token from the supply, provided you've room to carry more of them in the appropriate section of your notebook. If ever an animal would award you with a 6th compass, you may still study the animal, but you will not receive that particular reward. Any visible animal in your notebook with a chart in the corner will be worth 1 victory point for each compass you hold at the end of the game. But if that tile is covered by another, you'll not receive any of these points. An animal with a discovery icon such as this is an important discovery for the scientific community. It will be worth the number of victory points indicated at the end of the game if it is still visible. If the tile is covered with another, however, it will not be worth anything. When you study an animal from the same ecosystem and class as one you've already placed in your notebook, the new tile covers the original. Once you've claimed the new animal's reward, you will also claim a theory tile from the 3 on display or from the top of one of the draw piles. Place this theory in an empty space of your notebook. Theories will award you with further victory points at the end of the game if their conditions are met. If you've any questions of what the iconography on a theory means, consult the chart at the back of the rulebook. If you take a theory from the display, replace it with a new one from a draw pile. If ever you should draw a theory when you've already filled your notebook with them, you must return one, whether the one you just drew or one you already had, to the bottom of a draw pile. Each time you cover all 4 spaces of an ecosystem or class, you shall write a publication, taking a publication token from the board and placing it in the top left corner of your notebook. Should you write multiple publications throughout the game, simply stack subsequent tokens atop each other. Each of these tokens will be worth 5 points at the end of the game. 5 of the tiles that may appear on the board are characters from my past voyages from whom you may draw inspiration. When you select one of these tiles, place it in an empty space on the left side of your notebook, then gain its bonus. Each character tile has 2 bonuses, which function just as animal tile bonuses do. However, unlike animals, character tiles cannot be covered with tiles selected on subsequent turns. Thus, with only 3 character spaces, you may only draw inspiration from a maximum of 3 characters throughout the course of a single game. More information about each of these characters can be found on the last page of the rulebook. When the last tile from the last draw pile is placed onto the board, the game ends. This will happen once each naturalist has placed 12 tiles in their notebook. Add up the points you've earned from your animal discoveries, charts, publications, theories, and for being my favored student, if applicable, and whichever naturalist has the highest score wins. In the event of a tie, the tied naturalist with the most theory points claims the victory. That covers everything you need to know to play in the Footsteps of Darwin. If you're curious to learn more about me and my journeys and accomplishments, the first 2 pages of the rulebook and the entirety of the appendix should scratch that itch for you. May your journey be as educational as it is prosperous.
And I just want to take a quick second now to thank you for coming to us to learn how to play your board games. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comments down below. We'll do our best to get back to you as quick as we can. We'd also really appreciate it if you'd give this video a like, give the channel a subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss all our other fun stuff, including reviews, playthroughs, top 10s, and our weekly live show, The Board and Barrel, every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, where we play games like this one for an audience that can mess with us using our Buff and Nerf house rules and win free board games for themselves by playing virtual bingo. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.